Welcome to the FERPA for Faculty training session for DePaul University faculty members. This video will highlight key FERPA concepts and ways you will interact with the law as a faculty member. FERPA applies no matter how you are teaching DePaul students. Whether you are in a classroom or teaching remotely, your compliance with our FERPA policies is required. Let's get started. The Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA, protects the privacy of students' education records. As a DePaul faculty member, it is your responsibility to comply with our policies to protect our students' information and thereby comply with the law. Let's look at a couple of key components of this law. FERPA gives students several rights, including the rights to review their education record, control the disclosure of their education record, and file a complaint with the Department of Education. An education record is a collection of student-specific files, documents, records, and materials that DePaul maintains. Some examples of these records include course assignments submitted in D2L, class schedules, earned grades, emails between colleagues that contain student IDs and names, and advising notes stored in Blue Star. FERPA allows for eligible students to review any component of their education record, which should encourage you to maintain student records in a professional and factual manner. At DePaul, you are not entitled to access student information. You must have a legitimate educational interest or a need to know to do so. Having a legitimate educational interest means that access to specific student information is necessary to perform your responsibilities related to your role as a faculty member and the education of DePaul's students. Curiosity is not a legitimate educational interest, nor is the fact that you are a DePaul employee. Records should only be accessed in the context of official business in combination with the educational success of the student. Lastly, access to information does not authorize unrestricted use. While you may need to access education records for a particular student population, you do not necessarily have a need to review records of all DePaul students. The following case studies illustrate how FERPA may impact your role as a faculty member. There are a group of students who are struggling with the math component of your course this term. You want to offer resources to help them with these concepts, so you reach out to them via email. Your email lists the group of student recipients in the To line. You explain that virtual tutoring sessions are available to help strengthen their math skills to improve their grades in your course. Is this a FERPA violation? Yes, this is a FERPA violation because you have disclosed academic performance information to a group of students. An email to a group of students is permissible when your recipient list is hidden from the group. A FERPA best practice is to BCC your student recipients to protect their privacy. You have transitioned from in-person instruction to virtual instruction and need information about your students on hand. Can you take home personally identifiable information, or PII, from your students' education records? You may, as long as you have a legitimate educational interest in the records you're taking home. It is your responsibility to protect the information you are accessing by eliminating the risk of further disclosure. You must use reasonable methods to protect the PII in these education records. If you are taking home physical documents, are you locking these in a home filing cabinet to maintain their privacy? If the records are electronic, are you securely storing them on DePaul's W or U drive? These are things to consider when moving students' education records to a remote location. You are now teaching your advertising course virtually using Zoom and D2L. You would like to record your course sessions and make the recordings available online, allowing absent but enrolled students to access the course session at a later date. Is this a FERPA violation? No, as long as the recording does not disclose PII from the student education records during the online course. Facilitating discussions where you identify students using their full names is appropriate as long as it's within the course session and with only those students enrolled in the course. Disclosing assignment grades and other non-directory information is not permissible unless you have written student consent. We encourage you to notify your students beforehand that you plan to record your online courses and that any virtual interaction will be captured in the recording. The introductory session to your course is a great preview of the types of interesting content your students will learn. You'd like to share the recording of this virtual class online so that other DePaul students may consider taking your class. Would doing so be a FERPA violation? It depends on what student information is included in the recording. To avoid any FERPA violations, we should not be sharing virtual classroom recordings with students not enrolled in the course. You may have students in your course who have placed a FERPA directory restriction, which prevents the release of any personal information, including their name, to others outside of their classmates and instructors. By sharing the recording of your virtual class to students not enrolled in the course, you are risking the disclosure of your students' personal information. Rather than record an actual online course session, record your student-free lecture content and make that available to students. Your compliance with FERPA enhances the compliance of the entire university community, which is something we value and must maintain. If you would like additional information about FERPA and DePaul's policy, you can visit policies.depaul.edu. If you have any questions, please contact us at ursupport@depaul.edu. Thank you.